The Book of Hosea. Hosea. The word of Yahuwah that came to Hosea son of Beari in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, sovereigns of Yehudah, and in the days of Jeroboam, son of Joash, sovereign of Yisrael. The beginning of the word of Yahuwah with Hosea. And Yahuwah said to Hosea, Go, take yourself a woman of whoring, and children of whoring, for the land has utterly whored away from Yahuwah. So he went and took Gomer, daughter of Diblaim, and she conceived and bore him a son. And Yahuwah said to him, Call his name Yisrael, for in a little while I shall revenge the bloodshed of Yisrael on the house of Jehu, and put an end to the reign of the house of Yisrael. And it shall be in that day that I shall break the bow of Yisrael in the valley of Yisrael. And she conceived again and bore a daughter. And he said to him, Call her name Lo Ruhamah, for no longer do I have compassion on the house of Yisrael, so as to forgive them at all. But I shall have compassion on the house of Yehudah, and save them by Yahuwah their Elohim, and not save them by bow or by sword or battle, by horses or horsemen. And she weaned Lo Ruhamah, and conceived and bore a son. Then he said, Call his name Lo Ami, for you are not my people, and I am not for you. Yet the number of the children of Yisrael shall be as the sand of the sea, which is not measured nor counted. And it shall be in the place where it was said to them, You are not my people. They shall be called, You are the sons of the living El. And the children of Yehudah and the children of Yisrael shall be gathered together, and appoint for themselves one head, and shall come up out of the earth, for great is the day of Yisrael. Chapter 2. Say to your brothers, O my people, and to your sisters, O compassion one. Strive with your mother, strive, for she is not my wife, nor am I her husband. Let her put away her whorings from her face, and her adulteries from between her breasts, lest I strip her naked, and shall set her up as on the day she was born, and shall make her like a wilderness, and shall set her like a dry land, and shall put her to death with thirst. And I shall not have compassion on her children, for they are the children of whorings, for their mother has whored. She who conceived them has acted shamelessly. For she said, I go after my lovers, who give me my bread, and my water, my wool, and my linen, my oil, and my drink. Therefore, see, I am hedging up your way with thorns, and I shall wall her in, so that she does not find her paths. And she shall pursue her lovers, but not overtake them, and shall seek them, but not find them. Then she shall say, Let me go and return to my first husband, for then it was better for me than now. And she did not acknowledge that I gave her grain, and new wine and oil, and increased her silver and gold which they prepared for Baal. Therefore I shall turn back, and shall take my grain in its time, and my new wine in its appointed time. I shall take away my wool and my linen, covering her nakedness. And now I shall uncover her shame before the eyes of her lovers, and no one shall deliver her from my hand. And I shall cause all her rejoicing, her festivals, her new moons, and her Sabbaths, even all her appointed times, to cease, and lay waste her vines and her fig trees, of which she has said, These are my harlot fees that my lovers have given me. And I shall make them a forest, and the beasts of the field shall eat them. And I shall punish her for the days of the Baals, to which she burned incense and adorned herself with her rings and jewelry, and went after her lovers, and forgot me, declares Yahuwah. Therefore, see, I am alluring her, and shall lead her into the wilderness, and shall speak to her heart, and give to her vineyards from there, and the valley of Achor as a door of expectation, And she shall respond as in the days of her youth, as in the days when she came up from the land of Mitzrayim. And it shall be in that day, declares Yahuwah, that you shall call me my husband, and no longer call me my Baal. And I shall remove the names of the Baals from her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And in that day I shall make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the birds of the heavens, and with the creeping creatures of the ground. When bow and sword and battle I break from the earth, I shall make them lie down in safety, and I shall take you as a bride unto me forever, and take you as a bride unto me in righteousness, and in right ruling, and loving commitment and compassion. And I shall take you as a bride unto me in trustworthiness, and you shall know Yahuwah. And it shall be in that day that I answer, declares Yahuwah, that I answer the heavens, and they answer the earth, and the earth answer the grain, and the new wine, and the oil, and they answer Yisrael. And I shall sow her for myself in the earth, and I shall have compassion on her who had not obtained compassion. And I shall say to those who are not my people, you are my people, while they say, my Elohim. Chapter 3. Then Yahuwah said to me, go again, love a woman loved by a friend and an adulteress, according to the love of Yahuwah for the children of Yisrael, though they are turning to other mighty ones, and love their raisin cakes. So I bought her for myself for 15 pieces of silver, and 1 1/2 omers of barley. And I said to her, you are to remain with me many days. You are not to whore, nor become any man's. And so I shall also be towards you. For many days the children of Yisrael are to remain without sovereign, and without prince, and without slaughtering, and without pillar, and without shoulder garment or house idols. Afterward the children of Yisrael shall return, and seek Yahuwah their Elohim, and David their sovereign, and fear Yahuwah and his goodness in the latter days. Chapter 4. Hear the word of Yahuwah, you children of Yisrael, for Yahuwah has a case against the inhabitants of the land. For there is no truth, or loving commitment, or knowledge of Elohim in the land. Swearing and lying and murdering and stealing and committing adultery have increased, and bloodshed follows bloodshed. Therefore the land mourns, and everyone living there languishes. With the beasts of the field and the birds of the heavens and the fish of the sea are taken away. However, let no one strive or reprove another, for your people are like those striving with a priest. And you shall stumble in the day, and the prophet shall also stumble with you in the night. And I shall make your mother perish. My people have perished for lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I reject you from being priest for me. Since you have forgotten the Torah of your Elohim, I also forget your children. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. My esteem they have changed into shame. They eat the sin of my people, and lift up their desire to their crookedness. And it shall be like people, like priests, and I shall punish them for their ways, and reward them for their deeds. And they shall eat, but not be satisfied. They shall whore, but not increase, for they have stopped obeying Yahuwah. Whoring and wine and new wine enslave the heart. My people ask from their wood, and their staff declares to them, for a spirit of whorings has led them astray, and they went whoring from under their Elohim. They slaughter on the mountaintops and burn incense on the hills, under oak and poplars and terebinth, because its shade is good. Therefore your daughters commit whoring, and your brides commit adultery. I would not punish your daughters when they commit whoring, nor your brides when they commit adultery. For the men themselves go aside with whores, and slaughter with cult prostitutes. A people that do not understand are thrust down. Though you are a whore, Yisrael, let not Yehudah become guilty. Do not come up to Gilgal, nor go up to Beth Awen, nor swear an oath, saying, As Yahuwah lives. For Yisrael is stubborn, like a stubborn calf. Would Yahuwah now feed them like a lamb in a broad place? Ephraim is joined to idols, let him alone. Their drink is sour. They have whored continually. Her rulers wildly love shame. A wind has bound her up in its wings, and they are ashamed because of their slaughterings. Chapter 5. Hear this, O priests, and listen, O house of Yisrael. Give ear, O house of the sovereign, for the judgment is for you. For you have been a snare to Mitzpah, and a net spread on Tavor. And revolters have gone deep in slaying, and I reprove them all. I have known Ephraim, and Yisrael has not been hidden from me. For now, O Ephraim, you have whored. Yisrael is defiled. Their deeds do not allow them to turn back to their Elohim. For the spirit of whorings is among them, and they do not know Yahuwah, and the excellency of Yisrael shall witness to his face. And Yisrael and Ephraim stumble in their crookedness. Yehudah shall also stumble with them. With their flocks and herds they go to seek Yahuwah, but do not find him. He has withdrawn from them. They have acted treacherously against Yahuwah, for they have brought forth strange children. Now a new moon shall devour them with their portions. Blow a shofar in Geba, the trumpet in Ramah. Shout, O Beth Awan. Behind you, O Benjamin. Ephraim is laid waste in the day of rebuke. Among the tribes of Yisrael I shall make known what is certain. The chiefs of Yehudah shall be like those who remove a border. On them I pour out my wrath like water. Ephraim is oppressed, crushed in judgment, because he walked after the command when it pleased him. So I am to Ephraim like a moth, and to the house of Yehudah like rottenness. When Ephraim saw his sickness, and Yehudah saw his wound, then Ephraim went to Asher and sent to sovereign Yarev. But he is unable to heal you, or to remove the wound from you. For I am like a lion to Ephraim, and like a young lion to the house of Yehudah. I myself tear them and go. I take them away, and there is no one to deliver. I shall go. I shall return to my place until they confess their guilt and seek my face. In their distress, diligently search for me and say. Chapter 6. Come, and let us turn back to Yahuwah, for he has torn, but he does heal us. He has stricken, but he binds us up. After 2 days he shall revive us. On the 3rd day he shall raise us up so that we live before him. So let us know, let us pursue to know Yahuwah. His going forth is as certain as the morning, and he comes to us like the rain, like the latter rain watering the earth. Ephraim, what would I do with you? Yehudah, what would I do with you? For your loving commitment is like a morning cloud, and like the early dew it goes away. Therefore I have hewn them by the prophets, I have killed them by the words of my mouth. And my right rulings break forth as the light. For I delight in loving commitment and not slaughtering, and in knowledge of Elohim more than ascending offerings. But like Adam, they transgressed the covenant. They acted treacherously against me. Gilead is a city of workers of wickedness, tracked up with blood. And as bands of robbers lie in wait for a man, so the company of priests murder on the way to Shechem, for they have done wickedness. I have seen a horrible matter in the house of Yisrael. The whoring of Ephraim is there. Yisrael is defiled. Also a harvest is appointed for you, O Yahuwah, when I turn back the captivity of my people. Chapter 7. Whenever I would heal Yisrael, then the crookedness of Ephraim is uncovered, and the evil deeds of Shamaron. For they have wrought falsehood, and a thief comes in. A band of robbers raids outside, and they do not say to their hearts that I remember all their evil. Now their own deeds have surrounded them. They have been before me. With their evil they make a sovereign glad, and rulers with their lies. All of them are adulterers, as an oven heated by a baker, who ceases stirring the fire after kneading the dough, until it is leavened. In the day of our sovereign rulers became sick, inflamed with wine. He extended his hand with scoffers, for they have drawn near. Their heart is like an oven. While they lie in wait all the night, their baker sleeps. In the morning it burns like a flaming fire. All of them are as hot as an oven, and they consumed their rulers. All their sovereigns have fallen. Not one among them calls on me. Ephraim mixes himself among the peoples. Ephraim has become a cake unturned. Strangers have devoured his strength, but he does not know it. Gray hairs are also sprinkled on him, and he does not know it. And the excellency of Yisrael did witness to his face, but they did not return to Yahuwah their Elohim, nor did they seek him for all this. And Ephraim has become a simple dove without heart. They have called on Mitzrayim. They have gone to Asher. When they go, I spread my net over them. I bring them down like the birds of the heavens. I chastise them as their congregation has heard. Woe to them, for they have strayed from me. Destruction to them, because they have transgressed me. And I myself have ransomed them, yet they have spoken falsehoods against me, and did not cry out to me with their heart when they wailed upon their beds. For grain and new wine they assemble themselves. They turn away from me. And I instructed. I strengthened their arms, but they plot evil against me. They return, but not above. They have been like a slack bow. Their rulers fall by the sword for the cursing of their tongue. This is their scorn in the land of Mitzrayim. Chapter 8. Put a shofar to your mouth like an eagle against the house of Yahuwah, because they have transgressed my covenant, and they have rebelled against my Torah. They cry out to me, My Elohim, we Yisrael know you. Yisrael has rejected what is good. An enemy pursues him. They have made sovereigns, but not from me. They have made rulers, but I have not known. From their silver and gold they made idols for themselves, so that they are cut off. O Shamaron, your calf has been cast off. My wrath has burned against them. How long shall they be incapable of innocence? For from Yisrael is even this, a workman made it, and it is not Elohim. For the calf of Shamaron is splinters. For they sow the wind and reap the whirlwind. The stalk has no bud, it yields no grain. If it does yield, strangers swallow it up. Yisrael has been swallowed up. They have now become among the nations as a vessel in which is no pleasure. For they themselves have gone up to Asher. A wild donkey alone by itself is Ephraim. They have hired lovers. Also, although they sold themselves among the nation, this time I shall gather them, when they have suffered for a while from the burden of a sovereign, of rulers. Since Ephraim has made many slaughter places for sin, they have been slaughter places for sinning to him. I have written for him numerous matters of my Torah. They were regarded as strange. As for my slaughterings, they slaughter flesh, and they eat. Yahuwah shall not accept them. Now does he remember their crookedness and punish their sins. Let them return to Mitzrayim. For Yisrael has forgotten his Maker and has built palaces, and Yehudah has increased walled cities. But I shall send fire upon his cities, and it shall devour his strongholds. Chapter 9. O Yisrael, do not rejoice with exultation like the peoples, for you have whored from your Elohim. You have loved a harlot fee at all threshing floors. Threshing floor and winepress shall not feed them, and new wine shall fail in her. They shall not dwell in the land of Yahuwah, but Ephraim shall return to Mitzrayim, and eat unclean food in Asher. They do not pour wine offerings to Yahuwah, nor are they pleasing to him. Their slaughterings are like bread of mourners to them. All who eat it are defiled. For their bread is for their beings. It does not come into the house of Yahuwah. What do you do for the day of appointment, and in the day of the festival of Yahuwah? For look, they shall go because of destruction. Mitzrayim gathers them up. Moph buries them. Nettles possess their valuables of silver. Thorns are in their tents. The days of punishment have come. The days of retribution have come. Yisrael knows. The prophet is a fool. The man of the spirit is mad. Because of the greatness of your crookedness, and great is the enmity. Elohim's watchman over you. Ephraim is the prophet, but a trapper's snare is in all his ways. Enmity is in the house of his Elohim. They have deeply corrupted themselves as in the days of Geba. He remembers their crookedness. He punishes their sins. I found Yisrael like grapes in the wilderness. I saw your fathers as the first fruits on the fig tree in its beginning. They themselves have gone to Baal Peor, and separated themselves to shame, and became as abominable as that which they loved. Ephraim is like a bird. Their esteem has flown away. No birth, and none with child, and no conception. Though they bring up their children, I shall make them childless, without man. For it is woe to them when I turn away from them. I have seen Ephraim, like Zor, planted in a pleasant place. But Ephraim shall bring out his children to the killer. Give them, O Yahuwah, give what? Give them a miscarrying womb and dry breasts. All their evil is in Gilgal, for there I have hated them. Because of the evil of their deeds, I drive them from my house. No more do I love them. All their rulers are rebels. Ephraim has been stricken. Their root has dried up. They yield no fruit. Even if they bear children, I shall put to death the precious ones of their womb. My Elohim rejects them because they have not obeyed him, so that they become wanderers among the nations. Chapter 10. Yisrael is a degenerate vine. He brings forth fruit for himself. As his fruit increased, he increased the slaughter places. And the better his land, the better they made the pillars. Their heart has been slippery. Now they are guilty. He breaks down their slaughter places. He destroys their pillars. For now they say, we have no sovereign, because we did not fear Yahuwah. What would the sovereign do for us? They have spoken words, swearing falsely and making a covenant. Therefore judgment shall spring up like poisonous weeds in the furrows of the field. The inhabitants of Shamaron fear because of the Kath of Beth Awan, for its people shall mourn for it, as well as its priest who used to rejoice over it because of its esteem that has departed from it. It also brought to Asher as a present for sovereign Yerev. Ephraim does receive shame, and Yisrael is put to shame through his counsel. Shamaron is cut off. Her sovereign is like a twig on the surface of the water. And the high places of Awen, the sin of Yisrael, shall be destroyed. Thorn and thistle come up on their slaughter places. And they shall say to the mountains, cover us, and to the hills, fall on us. O Yisrael, you have sinned from the days of Geba. There they stood. The battle in Geba against the children of perversity did not overtake them. When I desire, then I bind them, and peoples shall be gathered against them when I bind them for their double guilt. And Ephraim is a trained heifer, loving to thresh grain. But I myself shall pass over her comely neck. I put Ephraim to the yoke. Yehudah plows, Jacob harrows for him. Sow for yourselves righteousness. Reap according to loving commitment. Break up your tillable ground. It is time to seek Yahuwah till he comes and rains righteousness on you. You have plowed wrongness. You have reaped unrighteousness. You have eaten the fruit of lying, because you trusted in your own way, in your many mighty men. An uproar shall arise among your people, and all your strongholds shall be ravaged, as Shalman ravaged Beth Arvel in the day of battle. A mother dashed in pieces on her children. Thus it shall be done to you, O Bethel, because of the evil of your wickedness. At dawn, the sovereign of Yisrael is completely cut off. Chapter 11. When Yisrael was a child, I loved him, and out of Mitzrayim I called my son. They called to them, so they went from their face. They slaughtered to the Baals and burned incense to carved images. And I taught Ephraim to walk, taking them by their arms. But they did not know that I healed them. I drew them with ropes of man, with cords of love, and I was to them as those who take the yoke from their neck. And I bent down, fed them. No, let him return to the land of Mitzrayim, and let Asher be his sovereign, because they refused to repent. And the sword shall whirl in his cities. It shall demolish his gate bars and consume, because of their own counsels. My people are bent towards backsliding from me. Though they call to the one above, none of them exalt him. How could I give you up, Ephraim? How could I hand you over, Yisrael? How could I make you like Admah? How could I set you like Zeboim? My heart turns within me. All my compassion is kindled. I shall not let the heat of my wrath burn. I shall not turn to destroy Ephraim, for I am El and not man, the set-apart one in your midst, and I shall not come in enmity. Let them follow Yahuwah. Like a lion he roars. When he roars, then sun shall tremble from the west. They shall tremble like a bird from Mitzrayim, and like a dove from the land of Asher. And I shall let them dwell in their own houses, declares Yahuwah. Ephraim has surrounded me with lying, and the house of Yisrael with deceit. But Yehudah is still wandering with El, and is true to the set-apart one. Chapter 12. Ephraim is feeding on wind, and pursuing an east wind. All the day he increases falsehood and ruin. And they make a covenant with Asher, and oil is sent to Mitzrayim. And Yahuwah has a controversy with Yehudah, to punish Jacob according to his ways, to repay him according to his deeds. He took his brother by the heel in the womb, and in his strength he strove with Elohim. He strove with the messenger and overcame. He wept and sought his favor. He found him in Bethel, and there he spoke to us. Even Yahuwah Elohim of hosts, Yahuwah is his remembrance. Therefore return to your Elohim, guard loving commitment and right ruling, and wait on your Elohim continually. A merchant, in his hands are the scales of deceit. He loved to oppress. And Ephraim says, Indeed, I have become rich, and I have found wealth for myself. In all my labors they shall find in me no crookedness that is sin. But I am Yahuwah your Elohim, since the land of Mitzrayim. Again I shall make you dwell in tents, as in the days of the appointed time. And I have spoken to the prophets, and have increased visions. And through the prophets I gave parables. Is Gilead wicked? Certainly. They have been false. In Gilgal they have slaughtered bulls. Also their slaughter places are as heaps on a plowed field. And when Jacob fled to the country of Aram, Yisrael served for a wife.
and for a wife he kept watch. And by a prophet Yahuwah brought Yisrael out of Mitzrayim, and by a prophet he was watched over. Ephraim has provoked most bitterly, so his master left his blood guilt on him, and repaid him for his reproach. Chapter 13. When Ephraim spoke, there was trembling. He was lifted up in Yisrael. But through Baal he became guilty, and he died. And now they sin more, and make for themselves molded images from their silver, idols according to their skill, all of them the work of craftsmen. They say of them, "Let the men who slaughter kiss the calves." Therefore they shall be like a morning cloud, and like dew that goes away early, like chaff blown off from a threshing floor, and like smoke from a window. But I am Yahuwah, your Elohim, since the land of Mizraim, and an Elohim besides me you shall not know, for there is no Savior besides me. I knew you in the wilderness, in the land of drought. When they were fed, they were satisfied. They were satisfied, and their heart was exalted. Therefore, they forgot me. So I am become like a lion to them, like a leopard I watch by the way. Like a bear robbed of her young, I attack them, and rip open the enclosure of their heart. And there I devour them like a lion. A wild beast tear them apart. You have destroyed yourself, O Yisrael, but your help is in me. Where is your sovereign now to save you in all your cities, and your rulers of whom you said, "Give me a sovereign and rulers"? I gave you a sovereign in my displeasure, but I took him away in my wrath. The crookedness of Ephraim is bound up, his sin is hidden. Pains of a woman in labor shall come upon him. He is not a wise son, for it is not the time that he should delay at the breaking forth of children. From the power of Sheol I ransom them, from death I redeem them. Where is your plague, O death? Where is your destruction, O Sheol? Repentance is hidden from my eyes. Though he bears fruit among his brothers, an east wind comes. A wind from Yahuwah comes up from the wilderness, and it dries up his fountain, and his spring becomes dry. It plunders a treasure of all desirable objects. Shamaron is held guilty, for she has rebelled against her Elohim. They fall by the sword. Their infants are dashed in pieces, and their pregnant women ripped open. Chapter 14. O Yisrael, return to Yahuwah your Elohim, for you have stumbled by your crookedness. Take words with you, and return to Yahuwah. Say to him, "Take away all the crookedness, and accept what is good, and we render the bowl of our lips. Asher does not save us. We do not ride on horses, nor ever again do we say to the work of our hands, 'Our mighty ones.' For the fatherless finds compassion in you. I shall heal their backsliding. I shall love them spontaneously, for my displeasure has turned away from them. I shall be like the dew to Yisrael. He shall blossom like the lily, and strike out his roots like Lebanon. His branches shall spread, and his splendor shall be like an olive tree, and his fragrance like Lebanon. Those who dwell under his shadow shall return. They shall revive like grain, and blossom like the vine, and become as fragrant as the wine of Lebanon. What more has Ephraim to do with idols? It is I who answer and look after him. I am like a green cypress tree. Your fruit comes from me. Who is wise and understands these words, discerning and knows them? For the ways of Yahuwah are straight, and the righteous walk in them, but the transgressors stumble in them.